The sound of expensive glass hit the marble floor and shattered into 1,000 pieces. Victoria stood frozen in the grand living room of the mansion, her hands trembling, her eyes wide with shock. "What did you just say?" she whispered. Marcus sat on his leather couch, looking pale and weak. His once strong shoulders now seemed to carry the weight of death itself. He looked at his girlfriend with tired eyes. "I'm dying, Victoria. The doctors say I have only a few months left." Victoria's knees buckled. She grabbed the edge of the center table to steady herself. Tears filled her eyes, but something else flickered there too, something Marcus was watching for. But this isn't how it all started, and before we dive into the full story, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and comment where in the world you're watching from. We'd love to know how far this tale is traveling. 3 hours earlier, Marcus had sat in his private study with two men he trusted more than anyone in the world. Mr. Thompson, his lawyer for 15 years, sat across from him with a serious expression. Dr. Williams, his personal physician, stood by the window overlooking the busy streets of Lagos. "Are you absolutely sure about this plan, Marcus?" Mr. Thompson asked, adjusting his glasses. Marcus leaned back in his chair. At 45 years old, he had built an empire from nothing. His real estate company owned half of Victoria Island. His investments spread across Africa like the roots of an ancient tree, but money had taught him a bitter lesson. It showed him the worst in people. "I need to know the truth," Marcus said firmly. "I need to know who truly loves me and who just loves my money." Dr. Williams turned from the window. "This is dangerous, Marcus. Pretending to be terminally ill is not a small thing. People's reactions might hurt you deeply." Marcus smiled sadly. "I'd rather be hurt by the truth than comforted by lies." Mr. Thompson pulled out some documents. "I've prepared everything. The fake medical reports look authentic. Only the three of us will know the truth. But Marcus, what if everyone fails this test? What if no one truly cares about you?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Marcus thought about Victoria, his girlfriend of 3 years. He thought about his brother Daniel and his sister Grace. He had given them everything. But lately, something felt wrong. Their love felt like a performance. "Then at least I'll know," Marcus replied quietly. Dr. Williams nodded. "I'll make the announcement tomorrow at the family dinner. I'll say it's stage 4 liver disease, untreatable, 3 to 6 months maximum." Now, sitting in his living room, watching Victoria process the news, Marcus felt his heart squeeze with pain. He wanted her to hold him. He wanted her to say that money didn't matter, that they would fight this together. Instead, Victoria wiped her tears and sat beside him. "Oh, Marcus, my poor Marcus." She took his hand, but her grip felt calculating. "We need to talk about important things now. We can't waste time." "Important things?" Marcus asked. "Yes, darling, we've been together for 3 years. Don't you think it's time we made things official? We should get married, soon, very soon." Marcus felt a cold chill run down his spine. "Victoria, I just told you I'm dying and you're thinking about marriage." Victoria's face shifted quickly. She manufactured a look of hurt. "How can you say that? I want to be your wife before you leave me. I want to carry your name. I want to honor you." "Honor me or inherit from me," Marcus thought, but he said nothing. He simply nodded weakly. The next blow came during dinner that evening. Marcus had gathered his siblings at his Ikoyi mansion. The dining table could seat 20 people, but tonight only 5 sat there. Marcus at the head, Victoria beside him, his brother Daniel and sister Grace on the other side, and his maid Jane serving the food. Jane had worked for Marcus for 7 years. She was a quiet woman in her early 30s, always efficient, always kind. As she placed the soup before Marcus, their eyes met briefly. He saw genuine concern there. Daniel cleared his throat. He was 2 years younger than Marcus, a man who had never worked a day in his life. Marcus had given him 3 different businesses to run. Daniel had destroyed all 3 with his gambling and careless lifestyle. "So, brother," Daniel said, sipping his wine, "have you thought about your affairs, your will, your properties?" Grace kicked Daniel under the table, but her eyes betrayed her own interest. She leaned forward, her expensive jewelry catching the chandelier light. Marcus had paid for her master's degree in London. He had bought her a house in Lekki, but the way she looked at him now felt like a vulture eyeing wounded prey. "Daniel is right," Grace said softly, pretending to be gentle. We need to discuss these things, Marcus. It's responsible, it's wise. Marcus set down his spoon. His hand shook slightly, though not from illness. The betrayal was cutting deeper than he had imagined. I'm not even dead yet, and you're already planning my funeral. His voice came out harsh. Daniel laughed nervously. Don't be dramatic, brother. We're just being practical. You built so much. Someone needs to manage it all when you're gone. When I'm gone, Marcus repeated slowly. You mean you can't wait for me to die so you can divide everything? Grace gasped. Marcus, how can you think such things? We're family, we love you. Do you? Marcus challenged. The table went silent. The tension wrapped around them like a python. Jane stood in the corner, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She quickly turned and walked toward the kitchen. Victoria broke the silence. Everyone is just stressed, darling. This news has shocked us all, but your brother and sister have a point. We should arrange things properly. And Marcus, she placed her hand on his arm, we should really set a wedding date, next month perhaps. Next month? Marcus stared at the woman he had almost loved. The woman he had showered with gifts, trips to Paris, designer bags, a Mercedes-Benz for her last birthday. Now she sat here pushing for a quick marriage while his fake death clock ticked away. I'll think about it, Marcus said, standing up abruptly. I'm tired, I need to rest. He walked slowly toward his bedroom, playing the part of a dying man. Behind him, he heard whispers starting immediately, excited whispers, planning whispers. But one person followed him quietly. Jane knocked softly on his bedroom door minutes later. Sir, I brought your medication, she said. Marcus opened the door. Jane entered with a tray, but her face was streaked with tears. Jane, are you crying? Marcus asked, momentarily forgetting his act. Jane set down the tray and wiped her face quickly. I'm sorry, sir, it's just the news. I can't believe that you're sick. It's not fair. You're a good man, sir, the best man I've ever known. Her tears were real, her pain was genuine. Marcus felt his own eyes burning. Could it be that the only person who truly cared about him was the one person who had nothing to gain from his death? Marcus couldn't sleep that night. He lay in his king-sized bed, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slowly above him. Jane's tears kept replaying in his mind. Real tears, honest tears, not the manufactured tears Victoria had displayed. Morning came with the Lagos sun burning through his curtains. Marcus heard movement in his house. Voices, loud voices. He put on his robe and walked toward the commotion. The voices came from his study, his private study, the room he had specifically told everyone never to enter without permission. Marcus pushed the door open quietly. Daniel and Grace stood around his desk, pulling open drawers, shuffling through papers. They froze when they saw him. What are you doing? Marcus asked, his voice dangerously calm. Grace recovered first, forcing a smile onto her face. Oh, Marcus, you startled us. We were looking for your insurance documents, to help you organize things. In my private study, going through my personal files. Daniel stepped forward, not even bothering to look guilty. Brother, you're sick, you can barely walk. Someone needs to know where everything is. Your bank accounts, your property deeds, your investments. What if something happens suddenly? What if something happens suddenly? Marcus repeated, tasting the bitterness of each word. You mean what if I die suddenly and you don't know where the money is? Grace's mask slipped for just a moment. Annoyance flashed across her face before she covered it with fake concern. Why are you being so difficult? We're trying to help you. Help me or help yourselves. The siblings exchanged glances. Something unspoken passed between them, something that made Marcus's stomach turn. Daniel's voice dropped lower, colder. You know what, Marcus? Maybe you should think about us for once. You've had everything your whole life. The intelligence, the business sense, the success. What did you leave for us? Nothing but scraps from your table. Scraps? Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. I gave you a sports betting business with starting capital of 50 million naira. You gambled it all away in 6 months. That was one mistake, Daniel shouted. One? Should I count the others? Marcus moved closer to his brother. The restaurant, the importation company, the car dealership, I gave you every opportunity to build something for yourself. Grace jumped in, her voice sharp. And what about me, Marcus? You sent me to school, yes, you bought me a house, yes, but you control everything. The house is in your name. You give me monthly allowance like I'm a child. I'm 40 years old. The house is in my name because you wanted to use it as collateral for your married boyfriend's fake business deal. Remember that? I saved you from losing everything. Grace's face turned red. You always think you know better than everyone. You always want to control us. Marcus stared at his siblings. These were people he had loved his entire life, people he had protected and provided for. Now they stood in his study, angry at him for not dying fast enough, for not making it easier for them to take his wealth. Get out of my study, Marcus said quietly. Marcus, Daniel started. Get out. They left, but not before Daniel turned at the door. You're going to die soon anyway, brother. Whether you like it or not, we're your family. We'll get what's rightfully ours. The threat hung in the air like poison. Marcus sat down heavily in his chair. His hands were shaking, not from illness but from heartbreak. The test was revealing truths he wasn't sure he wanted to know. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. Come in, he called. Jane entered with a breakfast tray. She had prepared his favorite, yam and egg sauce with fresh orange juice. Sir, you didn't eat much yesterday. You need your strength. She set the tray before him carefully. Marcus looked at the food, then at Jane. Why do you care, Jane? The question seemed to surprise her. Sir, why do you care if I eat? If I have strength, I'm dying anyway. Jane's eyes filled with tears again. She quickly turned away, but Marcus caught her arm gently. Wait, I'm sorry, that was harsh. Please sit down. Jane hesitated. Sir, it's not proper. I'm just the maid. Sit, Jane, please. She sat on the edge of the chair opposite his desk, her hands folded in her lap. She looked uncomfortable but stayed. Marcus studied her face. Jane was a simple woman. She wore no makeup, no expensive clothes. Her uniform was always clean but worn. She sent most of her salary to her family in Ibadan. He knew her mother was sick. Her younger siblings were in school. How long have you worked for me, Jane? Marcus asked. 7 years, sir. 7 years, and in all that time, have I ever treated you badly? Never, sir. You've been very kind to me. When my mother needed surgery, you paid for it. When my brother wanted to learn a trade, you sponsored him. You've done so much for my family. Then you care about me because you feel obligated, because I helped you. Jane looked up, meeting his eyes directly for the first time. No, sir, I care about you because you're a good man. You're kind even when no one is watching. You say thank you to drivers and gatemen. You remember people's names. You ask about their families. Her voice cracked. The world needs good people like you, sir. It's not fair that you're leaving so soon. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. Here sat a woman with nothing, crying for him, while his family and girlfriend, who had everything because of him, couldn't wait for him to die. Thank you, Jane, he whispered. She wiped her eyes and stood up quickly. I'll leave you to eat, sir. After she left, Marcus pulled out his phone and called Mr. Thompson. How is the test going? The lawyer asked. Worse than I imagined, Marcus replied. I need you to do something for me. Start preparing new documents. I'm making changes to my will. What kind of changes? The kind that will shock everyone. That afternoon, Victoria arrived at the mansion with shopping bags, expensive shopping bags. She burst into Marcus's bedroom with excitement on her face. Darling, look what I bought. She pulled out a wedding dress, pure white covered in crystals, clearly costing millions of naira. Marcus stared at the dress. Victoria, I haven't agreed to marry you yet. Her smile tightened. But you will, won't you? Marcus, we love each other. You're going to die soon. Don't you want to make me happy before you go? Don't you want to take care of me? Take care of you, Marcus said slowly. Is that what marriage means to you? Of course, marriage is about security, about future, about love, Marcus interrupted. Victoria paused. The question seemed to confuse her. Well, yes, love too, but Marcus, be realistic. You're leaving me soon, alone. Don't you think you owe me something after 3 years of being with you? Oh, youth. I've given you my best years, Marcus, my youth, my beauty. I could have married someone else, but I chose you. Marcus felt something break inside him. So being with me was a sacrifice, an investment you made expecting returns. Victoria realized her mistake. She tried to backtrack. No, darling, that's not what I meant. we should get married next week. I've already talked to a pastor. We can do it quietly, just sign the papers and... Just sign the papers, Marcus repeated. You've thought this through very carefully, haven't you? Marcus, please. Get out, Victoria. What? Take your wedding dress and get out of my house. Victoria's face transformed. The sweet mask fell away completely. You're making a mistake, Marcus. I've been patient with you. I've played the loving girlfriend, but if you think you can just throw me away after 3 years, you're wrong. Is that a threat? Victoria grabbed her shopping bags. At the door, she turned back. You're dying, Marcus. You need someone, but if you push me away, you'll die alone. Is that what you want? She left, slamming the door so hard the frame shook. Marcus sat in the silence of his bedroom, feeling more alone than ever. Was Victoria right? Would he die alone? But then he remembered Jane's tears, genuine tears. Maybe one honest person was better than a crowd of liars. His phone buzzed, a text from Daniel. We need to talk about your properties tomorrow. Don't avoid this conversation. Another text, this time from Grace. I spoke to a lawyer friend. He says we can contest the will if you don't distribute it fairly, just so you know. Marcus stared at the messages. His own family was threatening him. How far would they go to get his money, and what would happen when they discovered the truth? The next morning, Marcus woke up to find his entire family sitting in his living room. Not just Daniel and Grace. Their spouses had come too. Daniel's wife, Patricia, wore a black dress as if the funeral had already happened. Grace's husband, Tony, sat with his arms crossed, looking impatient. Victoria was there too, sitting apart from the others, her face carefully neutral. Marcus walked down the stairs slowly, playing his role of a sick man. Every eye turned to him with the same look: hunger, greed, impatience. What's going on? Marcus asked, though he already knew. Daniel stood up, holding some papers. We've been talking, Marcus, all of us. We think it's time you made your will official. We brought a lawyer. A stranger stood up from the corner, a thin man with a briefcase. Good morning, Mr. Marcus. My name is Barrister Okonkwo. Your family hired me to help draft your will and testament. Marcus looked at Mr. Thompson's number saved on his phone. His real lawyer, the one who knew the truth, but these vultures had brought their own lawyer, someone they could control. I already have a lawyer, Marcus said coldly. Grace jumped in quickly. But he's so expensive, Marcus. Why waste your money when Barrister Okonkwo can do it cheaper? You need to save your resources now. Save my resources for who? For you. Marcus felt his anger rising but controlled it. He needed to see how far they would go. Patricia, Daniel's wife, spoke for the first time. Her voice was sweet like poisoned honey. Brother Marcus, we're just trying to help. You're sick. You're not thinking clearly. Let us handle the difficult things. I'm sick, not stupid, Marcus shot back. Tony, Grace's husband, laughed bitterly. Look at him, still acting like he's in charge. Marcus, you're dying. Face reality. Your time is up. Our time is beginning. The room went silent. Tony had said what everyone was thinking, but nobody dared to say. Grace slapped her husband's arm. Tony, show some respect. But the damage was done. The truth was out in the open, naked and ugly. Marcus looked at each face, his brother, his sister, their spouses, Victoria, all of them waiting for him to die like hyenas around a wounded lion. You want my will? Marcus said quietly. Fine, I'll make my wills, but I'll use my own lawyer, and I'll decide who gets what, not you. Daniel stepped forward aggressively. That's not fair, Marcus. We're family. We deserve equal shares. Deserve? What have you done to deserve anything? We're your blood, Grace screamed, losing her composure completely. Your only family. Everything you have should come to us. Should it? Marcus challenged. Tell me, Grace, when was the last time you visited me because you wanted to see me, not because you wanted something? Grace opened her mouth, but no words came out. Marcus turned to Daniel. And you, brother, when was the last time you called me just to ask how I was doing? Daniel looked away. That's what I thought. Marcus moved toward the stairs. You'll get my will when I'm ready to give it. Until then, get out of my house, all of you. Nobody moved. I said get out. Slowly, reluctantly, they began to leave, but Victoria stayed behind. She waited until everyone else was gone, then approached Marcus. If this story touched your heart the way it touched mine while telling it, please take a moment to hit that like button. It really helps our channel grow and allows me to bring you more amazing African folktales that carry these deep life lessons. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.